Hi, everybody. My name is Kim, and I'm the founder and creator of Expat Mama. We are an online podcast that talks about international life. Today, my guest is Christy Caldwell, and she is an immigrant to Mexico from the US. Right here, I've got the sign of the town where she's located, and if I can find how to get out of this sign, this is called Ajijic, which means where the river runs down. So with that intro, I would like to say hi to Christy today. Welcome. Welcome to Expat Mama. And why don't you just start by talking about where you're from, how you grew up, what you're about.
Oh, well, I grew up in Ohio, but I'm not a fan of gray skies and cold weather. So when I was not quite 20, I went to the Caribbean, and I happened to meet a man whose family owned a private island. And he was a big Viking looking guy and blonde hair and blue eyes and surfer dude. And that was what I liked at that point. So I married him and I had my two sons and lived on a private resort island for 10 years, way down at the bottom, 125 miles from Venezuela. So,
wow.
Yeah, I had a really interesting life. There's not many people you'll ever meet who have lived on their own island, but we had a scuba shop and I had a boutique, and I designed and made clothing and beachwear. And I did a lot of community service projects on my own. I started a daycare center that's still there, a free one. And I got donations from wealthy people that stayed in the resort because we had a resort island. And a lot of different things. And I did a little bit of counseling about, because back in the 70s when I lived there, the population, people had a baby every year, and, they were afraid to use birth control. And, so finally I partnered with a few people in the government to try to get a birth control clinic started, because I know that the genesis of poverty is lack of control of your own fertility. And I've been all around the world. I've been to 55 countries. And I know that when women can control that, they can get out of an abusive marriage. They can get out of, away from a man who's, takes the money every week and spends it in the rum shop. So I did that. And I had two little boys, and they were like the only white kids there. So I knew which they had blonde hair. They're running around like little native boys. But when they were 4 and 7.5, we moved back to the States because there was no education there. And I homeschooled them for a while, but I had a business and it was very hard. And they needed to go to school because my older son was gifted. And my younger son is also gifted, but learning disabled in that he has severe dyslexia. So they have the same IQ, but, one could read when he was 4, and one still struggles to read at, 46 years old. But wonderful boys. And I had a very good divorce. We stayed very, very good friends forever, but we were married so young that, you're not maybe terribly good at picking a partner when you're 20. And we were so different. I grew up in a small town in Ohio, and he grew up on the ocean sailing around the world. So, but then we came back to the States and put the boys in school. And my family had upscale furniture stores, a chain of them. And so I went back to school and got my interior design degree because I had a degree in speech and theater, which is not anything that is very terribly useful. But I always sang. I sang all through high school and college, and I used to sing in church. I'd sing the national anthem. I sang at weddings and funerals. And then I married a Jewish guy and sang in the synagogue. So I sang for an hour and a half in Hebrew, which I still can't read. So that was very interesting. 12 years we were together. And I have a very deep love and respect for Judaism, the teachings of Judaism. I don't practice anymore, but I have a very deep respect for that religion. It's very inclusive, not exclusive. And it's very much about education, family, and there's a principle in Judaism called tikkun olam, which means repair of the world. So I take that to heart. So I had a long career as an interior designer, singing, and then I went to Argentina, which you and I talked about, for a couple of years. I went on vacation and loved it. And I said, you know, every sign everywhere is native speaker wanted, native English teacher.
Yes.
So I went there, and I met my next husband, who was from Argentina, and he happened to be the cousin of Andrea Bocelli.
What?
Yes. So I met him many times. He's a lovely, lovely human being, probably one of the nicest, most humble.
Word.
I mean, I met a lot of famous people in my life. In the Caribbean, they're coming and going all the time. And I could name drop all day long, but he is just an amazing human being. And so we used to do a tribute show to Andrea Bocelli, and I would do the Sarah Brightman and do all the stuff. So we toured. Beautiful. Yeah, for 6 years we were together doing that. And when we split up in 2017, I said, well, I'm moving to Mexico, but I didn't actually get down here till May. It's just been 3 years, May of 2019, because I had elderly folks. And when they finally passed, both of them at 94, after being married 72 years, yeah, 72 years, and together 75 years. Yeah. So, yeah. And so I had, you know, I had some income and I had some inheritance money, and I just said, you know, I can live much cheaper, because I was living in South Florida where my electric bill was $250 a month. And now I pay what is it, $12 a month? And I have a much bigger house. So one of the things that drew me here is the opportunity to live less expensively, and also to give back, because my parents were very, very, they really impressed upon me. And one of the last conversations, probably the last conversation I had with my dad before he passed, because he slipped and fell and kind of never woke up after the surgery. But he said to me, you help everybody who crosses your path. And I said, okay, Dad. And I'm thinking, how can I do that? Well, I can put concerts on. I produce concerts all over the place. And I mentor young Mexican talent, of which there is a lot.
A lot.
So I joined Rotary. My Dr. Santiago, said to me, I had an appointment with him, and he had a Rotary thing. And I said, oh, my dad was a Rotarian all of his life. And he said, would you like to join Rotary? I said, of course. And somebody brought these boys, a Rotarian brought these 3 young men and performed for our Rotary Club. And I got their number afterwards. And they said, well, we go to the music school, but it's about to close down. This was right before COVID hit. And I said, because the new government came in 2018 in Mexico, cut all the funding for art, you know, all of the art funding. They cut everything, the new president. So they stopped getting, you know, some help from the government. So I said, not on my watch, it's not going to close. So I went out there and I organized and I put on a concert in the auditorium a week before COVID hit. It was March 8th and everything closed down.
That was
on
right
March
before.
14th.
Yep,
right before. And we raised money and we kept it open. And I put 29 children on stage, Mexican children, and I taught them to sing the Song of the Sea, which, you know, you were raised in a religious family. You know, it's where the Israelites come to the Red Sea and it parts. Oh, yes. And it's the Song of the Sea is sung in every synagogue every year at the same Friday night, you know, service. And I taught them to sing in Hebrew. And my friend looked at me and said, only you would teach 29 Mexican children how to sing in Hebrew. But it was phonetic. Yeah, it's just, yeah. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. And I just did my 3rd concert here a month ago. And we raised money for Lake Chapala Society education programs. Because, you know, Lake Chapala Society is a 65-year-old organization.
Talk a little bit about that, because most of the people that follow this channel are Americans, so they're not familiar with what Lake Chapala Society is. And then let's expand about like what kind of area we live in. which is Lake Chapala, Mexico.
Ah,
So let's
we live in the,
talk about
the
what
largest
kind of area
lake
it
in,
is.
yeah, well, it's some people think it's a little Gringolandia. It's kind of a bubble, and some people do. Honestly, between you and me, they live in a bubble here, and the only Mexican people they know are their maid and their gardener. Well, I refuse to be that way. I live now. I just moved a little ways out of Ajijic into a real Mexican village. And, you know, I didn't want to be in a bubble. And half of my friends are Mexican, and I do speak Spanish fairly well. I still have trouble with the verbs. Like every Romance language, the verbs are hard. But I made it, I just love Ajijic. I love the spirit. I never go out of my house without meeting someone. I always meet someone I know. So it's a small town feeling.
Yeah.
You can go into a restaurant and if it's busy, you can say, could I sit at your table? Oh, sure. Where are you from? It's very, very,
it
very.
happens everywhere you go.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, you're in a restaurant. It doesn't matter how crowded it is, but if it's a little less crowded, you end up meeting whoever is there. And you talk to everyone and you end up having this conversation, you end up being friends, you end up exchanging contacts and connecting. It's
and
like
everyone has a story
anywhere else in the world.
No. And everyone has a story. I was sitting next to a guy that joined the Rotary Club, and I'm like, well, what did you do? And he said, oh, I was an architect. And I said, really? What kind of stuff did you work on? He said, well, I don't want to brag, but I rehabbed the White House.
What? That's
crazy. Took it down from you know, the 18 coats of paint down, and you know, and I mean, everybody you meet in a casual conversation, well, what did you do? Well, I was an opera singer in Germany and I performed with Pavarotti. It's like, not that everybody has that, but every expat is a little different than people who never leave. I grew up in a small town. There are people who've never left the state.
I know.
And I've been to 55 countries. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
This area is a mecca for intellectual, artsy, just extraordinary individuals. This is what I found in this area. Everyone has, like you say, a unique story. There are a lot of very accomplished people when we're talking about music here.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit about that, and then we'll circle back to the Lake Chapala Society.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the music here is amazing because you have people that played with the household names. Oh, I was a guitarist for Jimi Hendrix, or I was this or that, you know. And this is a rich cultural country. Yes. And I was trying to explain to the friend I'm staying with right now, and she said, well, I don't know, Mexico. I've been to Tijuana, or I've been to Cancun. I said, you didn't go to Mexico. You went to Miami, and you went to a border town. But this is a deep, rich, beautiful culture. Yes. Fascinating history. And you know, Kimberly, the number one thing that I love about Mexico are the people. The number one thing is that the people you live among smiles and kindness. And I don't think people realize that about Mexico, because they only see the stupid movies with the cartels and blah, blah.
Stupid movies is right when you say that. Yeah. And the prevailing culture, most definitely without a doubt, is family.
Well, the number one quality of family, the number one quality, read all of the guidebooks, all of the Moving to Mexico books. They will say the number one quality of Mexican people is politeness. And I've had my partner who's Mexican. You know, I had a friend call me up. Oh, the police came because I'm having an argument with my neighbor. He walked in, within 10 minutes, he came out and solved the whole thing without an F word, without any raising of voices. They just came to an agreement. And you don't find that everywhere. I mean, I've been like you've traveled a lot. I've been to 55 countries, and I've never lived anywhere where people are kinder, and they are stunningly beautiful. They are stunningly beautiful people, I think.
I have two things to say about this. Go ahead and finish your thought, and then I'm going to add on to that.
You know, people say, "Oh, did you know, when you lived in Argentina, were the women beautiful?" I said, "Yes, but they had a cold beauty. The women here have a warm beauty. They have round faces and beautiful thick hair and sweet, expressive faces. And to me, that's beauty. You know, it's not plastic surgery and, you know, looking like, you know, I don't want to say Melania Trump, that kind of beauty. That's not beauty to me. Beauty is when you have sweetness in your face. And they're stunning.
They're stunning.
Yeah.
And the kindness and the hospitality just spills out. I mean, my sweet cleaning lady that comes and cleans our house, I mean, she just radiates this, she's just like this living sun that just comes into my house and cheerfully cleans my house. I don't cheerfully clean my own house.
No, me neither.
She comes in and she brings so much joy.
My house at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She comes in, she cheerfully cleans my house, and she's thankful. And I mean, they don't get paid anything really to clean our house, but
I know. I don't know how they live.
So much better. I don't know how they live, but for them, they're happy to do it. They come, she leaves my house with such a good vibe and just leaves so much joy in my family. And we have a personal relationship, and every day she sends me a good morning and a good night on WhatsApp. And she's always just she's such a big part of my life, honestly. And we have these personal relationships with these people that I know are going to go on for years. You know?
I agree. I can't have chosen. I look seriously at Italy because I love Italy and I speak some Italian, and I also looked seriously at Spain. But then I thought, I want to live in the mountains. I've lived on the seashore, you know, since I left Ohio. I lived either in Florida or the Caribbean, and I thought, let's try the mountains. And the weather is perfect.
It's perfect.
Absolutely. Now it's hot right now because we have 6 weeks of hot weather. But it's not hot compared to Florida. No. I mean, it's like an oven out there.
It's not humid.
But, no, it's not. The humidity is 25–30%. My hair's straight there. Here it's curly, but we have a lot of fun, and it's an amazing place to live. The cost of living is lower. The people are kind. The food is gorgeous. The tomatoes, the fruit, and the vegetables are all organic. Everything's organic. You don't have to pay extra for organic. And I mean, I go to the farmer's market, come home with a basket of stuff, and it's $5 for like 2 big, you know, and I don't know. I'm extremely happy. I think this is the happiest I've ever been in my life. I've had tragedy in my life. I have not had a perfect life. I've been divorced and I lost a son, but honestly, I don't think I'll ever leave Mexico. I can't imagine living anywhere else, and I could live anywhere. Yeah.
I have 2 things to say about this because, first of all, this is an area that not a lot of people, unless they've been here, know about, because like people in the north, this would be Americans and Canadians, mostly know about the beach places. They know about Cancun, they know about Puerto Vallarta, maybe, you know, mostly beach towns, and Mexico City. But this area is just, it just feels, don't you think, Christy, that it just feels so much like home when the moment, and I came the same year.
Immediately.
I came in 2019. We had been living in Merida. Merida is not too far. It's about 4 hours away from Cancun, same climate, extremely quiet, but just proportional heat that you can't even breathe. We gave it 6 to 8 months there and said, we're out of here. We can't handle it. One, because of the heat. I felt like I couldn't breathe. The second thing was the culture wasn't friendly. It's Mayan culture, and it's not to criticize, but you know, I'm fully bilingual after 2 decades in Latin America. They would put Mayan in the middle of the sentences. I felt like I couldn't even communicate in Spanish. So that was a bit on the frustrated side. And the third thing was I couldn't handle the food, and neither could my boys. My boys couldn't handle the food. So we're like, okay, we like Mexico, but we're not in love with this place. Let's try somewhere else. So we landed, you know, we've done a lot of house and pet sits. We're currently on.
I remember. Yeah.
We're on our 20th one right now. We're actually doing a pet sit right now for 2 cats. Believe it, I never thought I'd do this, but okay, this is what we're doing right now. And we love it. It's become such a big part of our lifestyle. But as soon as we landed here in this area in Ajijic,
me too.
it was like My boys, we have been full-time traveling. We've gone to Colombia, Cuba. We've gone several places in a year. And I think we experienced some severe travel burnout. And we were ready to settle down into a place because traveling is not always glamorous. And within 2 or 3 days, my boys begged me, Mom, let's stop traveling. Let's live here. We love this place. And I'm like, I do too.
Yeah. And
it just felt like home. There's something about this place.
Me too.
I can't even describe, but everyone just loves it here. It's the first time we've lived in community. There is a real community here.
Right, exactly. Because you live in Chapala, right? You live in Chapala. Yeah, I lived in Ajijic, and now I live.
We started out in Ajijic and ended up in Chapala.
Yeah, I lived several places in Ajijic, but I decided to move out to the country because I rescue dogs, and I have 2 big dogs, and I needed more room, and I have a pool now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, well, because I have some health, I have rheumatoid arthritis, which means that if you don't keep moving, you won't keep moving. So I need to work out in a pool. It's kinder on your joints to do that. But the other thing is the medical care is stunningly good in Mexico. I don't care what anyone says. I had a hip replacement done in January of this year. My surgeon rolled me out in the wheelchair and lifted me into my car because my partner was going to walk around. He pulled the car up in front of the hospital. I mean, and he said to me, do you need me to come to your house next week? And I said, really? You're my surgeon? He goes, well, I just got to check on you. I said, no, I'll come to the hospital. And I was walking in 5 days. I had it on Sunday and on Sunday and I was in the hospital 2 days. And the hospitals here are like something out of Star Trek. I mean, it's just amazing. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of people don't know that almost all the major doctors are trained in Guadalajara, not even Mexico City. It has something like 200 hospitals and 40 teaching hospitals. So the very latest robotics, everything is here, and you get kindness with it. Yes. My doctor spends an hour, but I go to Dr. Flores sometimes, and she just spends an hour with me. And I mean, I don't know. There isn't anything I don't like. I mean, sometimes the electricity goes off. Sometimes you don't have water for a day or two, but that's a small price to pay for living here.
It is.
You know, that's it. That's it. And everything's colorful. I'm here right now, and I'm in Florida, and everything's too straight, and there's no bright colors anywhere on the houses, and it's like everything's too clean and too quiet. But Mexico,
it's not as messy. We never get bored in Mexico. Am I not right about this?
No, we never get bored.
Go out. No. You're gonna, first of all, if you go out, you're gonna meet somebody for sure. If you're even a little bit friendlier. I mean, today we went and had lunch in Ponchos, and they're helping you at every turn. What do you need? And I must have looked like I need something. What do you need? They came and spoke to me in English.
Yeah.
This is a high English speaking area, by the way, just so people know. And I'm like, I need a shopping cart. And he said, put my stuff, and he actually brought it to me. He didn't say they're over there. He brought it.
Go give it. Yeah, we'll take you to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we're shopping around.
Exactly.
So if you go out and just looking around at all the interesting things, how intelligent Mexicans are, how resourceful they are. I mean, you see vehicles, things that they put together, because they can't necessarily afford to go out and buy something new, but they'll refashion it, and remodel whatever, and they come up with the craziest things that work. Okay, I would have never thought of that.
Yeah, well, Anthony, I remember Anthony Bourdain that passed away a few years ago. When you should Google the article that he wrote about Mexican food, because he said it's the finest cuisine, finest cuisine in the world. Finest cuisine in the world. Where? Mexico. No, not Tex-Mex. I'm not talking about Tex-Mex. I'm talking about the complexity and the beauty and the variety of tastes in Mexican food. But the other thing that I love is the local travel. We live in an area called the Bajío, which actually means low, but it's actually 5,000 feet. And there are so many interesting towns to visit. And you can go 3 or 4 days and go to a town that like the silver mining town of Zacatecas is 5 hours away. And I've been there for several. I went to the folkloric dance convention festival there. There are so many interesting towns here to explore. I mean, you can go every weekend to a different place within driving distance and never run out. I mean, there's city after city after city that are stunningly beautiful, cathedrals and museums, and it's rich culturally. It's more than the Yucatan where you were. Although Merida has some beautiful churches, but I don't know if it has the art and music scene that we have.
We didn't find it to our liking there in Yucatan, but we love Lake Chapala. We love.
Yeah, me too. I always tell people the Chamber of Commerce ought to pay me because I talk about it all the time. It's not perfect, and it may not be for everyone, but I'm very, very involved. I'm on the board at Lake Chapala Society. I'm on the board at the Rotary Club. I produce shows. I edit books. I have a Mexican boyfriend and I rescue dogs. And I used to horse ride and kayak, but that's kind of fallen by the wayside, since my surgery. But my doc says I can start horse riding again. I just can't jump.
Oh, then you'll want to do that with us because we do horseback riding all the time.
Yeah, I've seen you on Facebook. Yeah, my children and my grandchildren go, yeah, why do you want to live in Mexico? There's all those cartels. And I go,
why wouldn't you want to live here?
I never see them. I've never met a cartel person. I don't see them. I don't know about them. And, every day you turn on the news in the US, it's been just yesterday, I read there are 138 in 2022 mass shootings. We don't have that here. They don't kill students in schools and supermarkets.
It's every day.
Yeah. So I'm a refugee from this madness in this country. Me too. And I will never, ever live anywhere else but Mexico. Yeah. I'm so glad to be able to tell you about my love affair with this country. And I always have the caveat, it might not be for you. The roads are bumpy. The roads are full of holes. Sometimes the power goes off. But, we just laugh about it. We light a candle and read a book. I mean, it's no big deal.
Most of the time we do.
Yeah.
Now you're retired. I do have to keep working. I'm not retired yet, so I still have to keep working. It still frustrates me when something shuts down. And I've lived in Latin America a long time, but I've gotten used to it. And our emergency kit is getting a little bit better by the minute.
It is, yeah. And my internet's very fast. I have 130 megabits on my internet in my new house, so I'm not complaining. As long as I can stream music, upload my videos from shows that I do, and so.
That's all you need. That's all you need. Yeah, that's another thing. The internet has become very, very good in this area. There's a lot of good services. I have Total Play, which is all I need in my Chapala place. So that's been really great since that's come to this area. There's another one called help me out here, iLox, that apparently is really good.
iLox, yeah, they come and go, and I have Mega Cable now, so. No, I think I think it was the best choice of my life. And the other thing is, I'm on this side of the Atlantic. If I need to be back in Florida for my kids or grandkids, I'm 2 hours to Houston and 2 hours to Fort Myers. So I'm 5 hours from home. Whereas if I was going to live in Spain, as I had thought I would do, it's 14 or 16 hours to get home.
Right. You can just get home really quickly. Yeah. That's awesome. Well, you're kind of a celebrity in this area. So yes, you are. Everybody
people know me. Well, I have the posters. I have the banner across the street when I do a show, but no, I'm not anybody special. I just listen to my father's voice in my head that says, you help everybody. And what can I do? I can't write checks, but I can do concerts and raise a lot of money for
bring a lot of joy to people.
Yeah. So you and I, we'll put a band together. I have a rock band, by the way. I have a rock band, a Latin rock band too. I sing with the community orchestra and I sing with the Los Amigos big band, which is really always fun with the 40-piece big band and the orchestra too. But no, it's just fun being me. I wouldn't trade my life for anyone else's. So
what advice would you give people if they're thinking about, coming down here? And
well, you need to come and try it first. Absolutely. I moved here permanently after 5 visits, and I would stay a couple of weeks, different times a year, because I wanted to see the weather. But you need to try it because, as I say, there's no one size fits all. You may be happier at Puerto Vallarta. You may be happier in Merida. You might be happier in Tulum or any of the other. It has so much to choose from. But I wanted a cooler climate. I'm done with the humidity.
Me too.
Yeah, it's just too much living in Florida. So
that's
anyway.
Awesome. Well, so
try it out.
Yeah, that is the greatest advice. And it isn't like a one size fits all. Whatever works for us may not work for you. So you gotta find whatever your vibe is, whatever you like, but come down and try it. If you don't, you just, take a detour and go somewhere else. No big deal.
Yep. Yeah.
So if people, what that I haven't asked you, would you like to bring into this interview that maybe I haven't brought up?
Oh, I don't know. I think we got it. We got most of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people want to contact you, how would they contact you?
I am, I have my email is Rubia, as in blonde. Rubia is blonde. Here they call you Guera, but in Argentina I was Rubia. Oye, Rubia, hey, blondie. Rubia Gringa. Yeah, it's Rubia Gringa because, it's a female gringo @gmail.com. I'm on Facebook, Christy Caldwell. I have lots of C's in my name. I'm very friendly, easy to talk to. Send me an email. I don't read my email all that often. It's better just to WhatsApp me, or you can put my number in the chat if you want. I'm super friendly. I'm always happy to play my part in getting more people here, because I need to fill the seats at my at my shows.
That's correct. Yeah.
So, well, I think it's gone off.
I'm here. Your voice came through, so that's the most important thing. And then you're back on now. So, yeah. Okay. I had interrupted you at some point that you were going to bring something up, and I can't remember what you were.
I can't remember either. I'm 71. I'm 71 years old. You're just a kid. You're not even 60 yet. You're in your 50s, and I'm 71. But
I'll be 55 this year.
Oh, okay. Double nickel.
That's right, a double nickel.
Yeah, I have 4 grandchildren, so I'm really, you're still raising kids and I'm raising grandkids, so.
Oh, it won't be too long.
But yeah, anybody can contact me. What's that?
I said it won't be too long before I'm a grandma.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so hold the thought just a second. We'll come back to you. So for those of you who are watching, thank you so much. We invite you to subscribe to the channel. If you would like to support our channel, there's a link below that I'll put there that you can help us out with that. Sure. But more than anything, we'd like to know what kinds of things you feel about what we're showing you. What things you'd like to know about the future, if you're interested in knowing about what it's like to live in Mexico. Other interviews we've done have been in Colombia and other Central American countries such as Nicaragua. But you're welcome to reach out, and we're happy to answer your questions. So thanks for coming on and watching us, and we just really appreciate you. Christy, thanks so much for coming on today. You're really a big bundle of joy, and I can't wait for us to get together and do music.
We will. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Kim.
Okay, bye-bye. Adios.
Adios. Hasta luego.